All right, welcome back. We are here for time number 5. Cinco.
Right, Michelle?
Is that how you say it, Michelle?
Numero 5.
Thank you.
And so if you'll see to my right, we've got Michelle with us, Michelle Salazar, and she's going to be a co-host with us today. So start with just thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for watching all of our past episodes. If you haven't yet, you can go on Spotify. You can go on YouTube. Both ways that you can go back and look at what we've already put out there. So
we have a really exciting episode today. Our guest host is Michelle, who everybody loves. She's all happy and bubbly.
I was waiting till you guys asked me to come and join y'all. I mean, it's about dang time.
She's been standing out the door for the first 4 episodes, just watching.
Just waiting.
We have to
Waiting
build
to
to the
get
climax as we do each episode.
Yeah.
But
So you see
can
how
we do this one in Spanish, please? I'm
absolutely, but then I don't know what you're
yeah,
saying. So.
Danny and I'll just sit here and look at each other.
Yeah.
¿Dónde está el podcast?
What did you just say?
And we have Jason Martin. He will be here later on to join us, and we're going to do our Toolbox Talk with Jason Martin. So lots of fun stuff.
All right. So why don't we start with getting to know Michelle a little bit?
Oh, goodness.
Fine.
You got to
Why don't you tell us what you do for the company?
What do I do?
What's your
Good place to
position?
start.
Yes.
That's the question that everybody's asking.
What do I do? Okay. Well, I started as a recruiting coordinator with Martin Concrete 2 years ago. And now I assist with HR needs and
She says she assists. Her title is the HR manager. She's being very humble in that moment. She is our HR manager for the people team.
And we will post her phone number at the bottom of this so you can give her a call.
Mm-hmm. And she speaks English and Spanish, so it's open to everyone.
And her mom makes really good tamales.
Oh,
don't tell everyone that, Steve. That was just my secret to you.
Have you got a tamale?
I didn't know this. This is
get
news.
a tamale either.
You know, we have lunch today. How quick should keep?
It's because it's the Steve dollar. I'm kidding.
Oh,
She doesn't actually. Sorry, wrong Michelle.
So
You know how there's a ton of
Marissa,
Michelles
move
out
the
there.
camera a little this
So,
way.
welcome to the Danny and Kristen's broadcast.
Here we go. That's enough about Michelle.
So what do you like to do for fun?
Oh,
When you're not working, what do you like to do for fun?
well, what do I like to do for fun? You guys are about to make fun of me.
We don't make fun of people.
Never.
Your family. You work for Martin Concrete.
So I don't even want to say it. Maybe I should come up with something more interesting.
No. This is very interesting now.
Yeah, we're in a toolbox talk here now.
I love to read books. I'm not gonna tell you what kind of
That's
book.
fine. That's not
No, because
Steve, do you read?
No comment.
But it's because it's not like.
I listen to audiobooks.
I read, and I listen to audiobooks because I can't.
I don't read, but my wife loves books, so I completely understand.
Is it love novels? Because that's.
I don't know what she reads, but that's all she does.
That's where we make fun of you.
Yeah, that's where you make fun of me.
That's not what I read.
Kristen's like, what leadership book am I reading today? Like, I'll try and read those, but like my go-to is like love novels.
So what's the last one that you've read?
The Fine Print. It was the 3 series.
And does the wife kill the husband in it?
No. These are happy
Did
endings.
somebody cheat on somebody throughout the book at some point?
Is there a triangle?
Probably like gooey.
Like a love triangle?
Sometimes.
Well,
Oh, my goodness.
That's pretty much.
Yeah.
When's the last leadership book you read?
I actually started the Team Player.
How to be a team player.
How to be a team player.
By Patrick Leonsi. That's a good one.
That's a good
If
one.
you haven't read it, read it.
That's right.
This is a picture of the book right here. Can you make that happen, Danny?
That just delayed this a week from getting posted.
Yes.
Enough about me. Let's.
Hold on a second. There was something else. Like, when you were in high school,
Oh, God.
what did you want to do?
What did I want to do? I'll tell you what. I didn't never expect it to be in working for a construction company. I will tell you that. What did I want to do? Well, I started working really, really young and got into property management. And I kind of just like worked my way up, started from like leasing to managing properties. And I did that for like 9 years. And so,
I thought you wanted to be on TV.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. I thought.
Well, like a weather girl.
that was a yes. I wanted to go to school for that, but quickly realized I couldn't do that. I was not one of those pretty girls on TV, you know.
But you are now.
Yeah.
So we could put a map on the TV here.
I can
Tell us the weather for Martin Concrete.
If we had a Martin Concrete weather app,
I like where this is going.
We need
just
one.
think about that.
We're in Concrete.
Our superintendents, our project managers use a weather app. They probably have 6 weather apps on their phone, and they probably still watch the news.
Oh, great! Kristen
as long as I could do it,
got our next project.
As long as I could do it in Spanish, I'll do it.
You're gonna.
That would be even better.
Yeah. Okay.
Done. We'll
Done.
do that after we're done here.
Okay.
Yeah, but the weather has
Never
to be
stops.
right.
Huh?
The weather has to be right, because if you don't predict it right and we pour concrete in the rain,
It's on you.
it's on you.
Can it be like the Mean Girls where she can predict the weather? And I'll just leave it
No
at that.
comment.
If you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I can't believe she just said that.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is your HR manager.
Can you edit this?
I was about to say you're really stretching my job here.
Sorry.
So, tell us my segue. Tell us you have a son.
Yes.
Tell us
I have
about Julian.
Julian, he's going to be 5 in like 2 weeks.
Oh,
He's growing so quickly. I want to reverse time, to be honest. I don't want him to grow up.
Well, if you figure out how to do that, will you let us know?
All of
Yeah.
us. Yes.
Yeah, 1,000%. But yeah, he's my everything. Keeps me motivated. The other day he was upset because he wanted me to take him to school and spend more time with him, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll just quit my job and I'll take you to school every day, and I'll spend more time with you. And he looked at me and said, no, I think not. I don't want to be poor. So
Smart
anyways.
kid. Awesome.
All right. So, what we are going to talk about today is people development. So, hopefully, you're going to have some good insight into that. Not to put you on the spot. but-
Yeah, now I see why I was the
That's
guest
our
speaker for today.
Core
That's
value
right.
for podcast 5.
You would think we kind of planned this stuff.
Yeah, except I was voluntold this morning.
You're,
2
you're not supposed to
episodes
say
in a row
that. on-
that person in that seat says that. Great. They
Oh.
keep coming on air and telling on me.
Well, I'm going to read the definition for people development before we get started, so
Sounds
we know
good.
what we're talking about here and what Martin Concrete sees as people development. People development. Our team members are the backbone of our organization, which is very true. We prioritize investing in their growth and professional advancement so that every team member has the opportunity to envision and achieve unlimited success. I really like that one. That's one of my favorites.
That last part is half of the latter part of our mission statement
That's right.
as well.
Yeah, that's really what feeds our mission statement, and it's at the end of the day, and this is one of the reasons for the podcast too.
Yeah.
I know we've been going through a different core value each week, but we really want everybody out there to be able to get to know Martin, and get to know, and it's really working out well that we have a different co-host each
Yeah.
time, and that we get to bring people on for Toolbox Talks, because it's about people, and then it's about their story, and it's about their development, right? You yourself just said a second ago, right? You came on as a recruiting coordinator and HR manager now, so
Yeah.
it's a big part of what we want to do here is that envisioning the unlimited success for our employees here.
Yeah, it's
Right.
our job as leaders is to go through and help people tap into their strengths and, get them to where, the next level. And if employees that enjoy their job, they're obviously going to perform that much better. And you're going to enjoy and work harder at something you like doing. And, I guess last year, what were we talking about earlier, Danny? In 2023, Martin Concrete had 27 people that were promoted within the company. We didn't hire outside; we promoted within, and that's huge. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something else I wanted to point out with people development at Martin Concrete, it's not always a promotion that it is part of it. That's half of it. We want them to grow, and promotions is with that. But we also want you to grow in the position you're at.
Yeah.
That may be more responsibilities, or 2 different positions you kind of take on in a single role. So there's 2 ways to look at it. But what I love is that people development, we're developing every single person here, whether it's the promotional part or whether it's just in what you do as your position right now.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yep.
Yeah, you come in hungry, humble, smart, and you're willing to, multitask, wear multiple hats. I mean, that just opens the door.
The sky's the limit.
Multiple things. Yeah,
That's right.
Most of us, I don't think any of us actually do now what we started at Martin Concrete, like what we were hired in to do. Which is
Or we
really
still
cool.
do it and something else.
Something else.
Yeah, no.
We're developing you into
We
more.
try to do it.
Is nothing the same as it was.
But that's
when you
why I
first
say
started.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk about growth, pull me aside and I can tell you about my type of growth, right?
Yeah.
And we all have our own stories.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful to see.
And it's really fun to look back and watch and know, like, just for other people, like when they started to where they're at today. And,
That's right.
honestly, that's probably the number one reason I even do what I do. That's why I enjoy my job is, I was given an opportunity along the way in my career to be able for somebody to mentor and help me. And so I've really taken that personally and passionately to go and kind of pay it forward and do that with as many people as I can and provide
That's
them
right.
opportunity and help them reach levels that they didn't even see possible. Which is fun and it's rewarding.
And that's a big deal, and it's a big part of our culture here. Is exactly what you just said, and it's we have the classes here, right? We did all the MC 101s last year,
Yeah.
and we went through and we're training, and we're teaching, and I know a lot of the PM group and some others. We put everybody through the Allen Face FFFL class, and so we've done all these different things, or we're going to different industry events with ACI, TCA, World of Concrete, different things like that to invest in groups and train.
Safety to Georgia Tech.
And so there's all these different things that we're doing, but it really goes deeper than that, and it's the mentoring. And everywhere along my career that I feel like I've really taken some steps forward in growth, somebody took a dedicated interest in me.
Yeah.
And they just said they were going to take me under their wing. Whether it was something that was formatted or not, but they took a special interest to help train me along. And it's so cool to be able to see that here. We see it in the field all the time, and we see superintendents taking people under their wing and training them up. And we see project managers, senior project managers helping APMs grow and teaching them and learning them along the way. Even down to when we first onboard people here and just teaching people Martin. And there's so many different aspects of developing people, from the little things to the big things to the really organized things to the just part of our DNA.
And I think something else we don't realize that's been hitting me past year is what they learn here, we also take home with us as well.
True, yeah.
And so we're not only developing in our company, we're developing in life also. And you talk about mentoring, there's ways to do that. And there's also, I'm glad I can go to anybody and ask them a question about life. It doesn't have to be about Martin. So you're always developing somebody, helping someone develop, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And, it just hit me when you were talking about the field, too. Honestly, our best superintendents that we've had the most success with through the years genuinely are developed and brought up from another superintendent and grow up within the company. They understand the Martin ways and they pick up on it easier because we are kind of picky and we do our things a little differently. We take very serious some things that others might not. And when you've worked for other companies, it sometimes takes a little while to understand, but when you grew up in it and you were brought up through it, it's just second nature to you.
That's right.
And it's easier. So, yeah, we all have to take on that mentality and do that. If everybody at Martin took interest in one person, then, imagine how much stronger we could be.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow. Yeah. Hey, we're sitting on here on this podcast and we're talking, but to everybody watching, everybody in Martin watching, we're talking about it, but it's a challenge to everybody.
Yeah.
Every one of us has something to contribute. And every one of us can share our experience. from lessons learned, good and bad, and having that open and honest culture and being able to communicate, and just being able to invest in others and see everybody grow, and that's how we change it.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily have to be a leader to help anyone. I mean, you can be in any position and lead by example. You don't have to have a certain title. You don't have to be in a certain position. People are always watching. So anything you do day to day for your job or even in your life, like I keep saying, you are still helping develop others. They're always watching you. So lead by example at all times.
That's right.
Definitely. So if you're looking to be developed, or you think that you would be great at developing somebody and want to join the Martin Concrete family, Steve, you want to tell them about the open positions we have?
I would love to, and I'm going to start with something that's close and dear to my heart right now. Is we're looking for a project executive in Nashville.
So if that's you,
come on down.
You can look on our website and go to our careers tab and fill out an application. And if not,
you can email your resume.
You can email your resume. I think we're going to put Michelle's phone number right here.
Thanks, Steve.
You can email it to
qualified candidates only.
HR@martinconcrete.com.
Yep. So that said, we do have some other positions as well, just as important. Just had to make sure I made the plug for the project executive.
That's the bonus of being a host on the podcast.
That's right. Special privileges. We're looking for crane operators. We're looking for QA, QC technicians, mechanics, project managers, senior project managers, on-site safety coordinators, field layout engineers, superintendents, and contract administrators. So all of those are open positions right now as we're growing as a company. And it's something, like we've just said, if you want to be part of a team, that you're going to come in and you're not just going to stay where you're at.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity as we grow to be developed, whether that's by position and title or whether that's just development in your career and development personally, coming alongside people that you don't really just call coworkers, but you call friends.
That's right.
And remember, if you're already a part of the team, you're more than welcome to apply for these positions as well, or at least speak to somebody about it so we can look into that for you.
Yeah, if that's the case, feel free to reach out to myself or Michelle, and we would be more than happy to talk you through that and figure out what the next steps are.
Correct.
So, good catch, Danny.
Yep.
All right. Well, now's the exciting part.
That's what everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah, drum roll, please. Our next segment is our Toolbox Talk with Jason Martin. So we'll be right back with Jason Martin and get to ask him some fun questions.
All right, and here we are today with Jason Martin. Welcome, Jason.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming, Jason.
Yeah,
Are you excited?
I am excited. It's my first time on a podcast.
Ever? Oh, wow.
Ever.
Really?
I certainly talk a lot, but never in front of a mic. So.
Well, I'm glad that we're about to unveil your true talent.
Good.
Just think about it. The whole world is watching.
Well, watch out. If I do good at this, maybe I'll start my own.
That's how everybody's ended up on this table, is they all came in as a guest but me. And I was like, yeah, you're stuck.
yeah, they'll get you for good.
You're really good at this.
We're going to have to get more tables, though.
More mics.
Yeah, keep expanding. Yeah. I'll take it.
Wider angle lens, stuff like that. Not because you're overweight, but because more people.
Yeah. Whatever helps.
All right, so we are going to get started with Jason Martin and our Toolbox Talk. So as you all know, this isn't our first rodeo. Those of you that listen.
How many have you listened to, Jason?
How many have been out so far?
Okay, wrong answer.
None.
So I hope these are really good questions that teach him a lesson.
Good.
He'll listen
Good.
after this, I can guarantee. So what we do is we draw questions out of our Toolbox Talk that different people, or Toolbox, different people around the office and in the field, we collected a bunch of questions and we told everybody, if you could ask Jason Martin one question, personal or professional, what would you ask? And so we have their questions, and we're going to go through and we're going to ask you. We're going to tell you who asked the question, though, so don't worry about that. Just in case.
I thought you guys were going to ask me about Toolbox Talk and just have me talk about that.
Did you prepare?
All the homework you did.
I was kind of thinking about Toolbox Talks and good ones that we've done recently. I didn't realize it was Jason's Toolbox Talk.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm glad we prepared you for this.
This is good. This is good.
This will be good.
If you did your homework. All right, so who wants to ask the first question? Steve, you want to go?
I'll
You're
go
closest.
first.
I'm telling you, we've got to get some suspenseful music.
I was going to go first, but I can't reach the box, so I guess that puts me last.
Yes.
No, you
I
go
don't.
next.
It's where they put me.
You're always like,
All right, this first one is going to be an easy one from Carlos.
which Carlos?
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
The next
What-
part is guessing which Carlos.
I'm guessing which Carlos. What's something that helps you get through the day while working on Carlos Arcio's crew?
While I was working on the crew. Phew. Well, we got safety in here, so that limits the discussion a
I
little
was
bit.
present.
Well, first of all, the Expendables were always a good time. The crew that we had there, although safe we like to have a lot of fun on the job site.
That's an
So we-
understatement of the year.
Yes. Yeah, we would we'd play little games, see who could throw the sledgehammer the farthest, type things like that. Now, this is a long time ago,
Now, did they give you the
Please.
1 pounder or the 5 pounder?
the 5-pounder.
Please tell them how old you were in this so that they're not thinking this was a year ago.
Oh, man, this is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, over 10 years ago. I was 16 when we were on there. So, they're probably 2015 or
Yeah.
no, 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
So we did just about everything from throwing sledgehammers, seeing how fast and how far up a hill you could drive their buggy. The site guys usually loved us because they would just watch us drive up this big dirt mound they got, and then they'd have to come get their big excavator and pull us back out. But
It was a daily thing, I think, where Carlos was firing them almost.
yes.
But
he also loved us
Yeah.
in a way.
As did I.
In a way.
So he'd bring you back on then.
He would.
We never actually completely fired him. It was just more of a threat every
getting put
day.
out in the
This was
doghouse.
before KPIs.
Yes,
okay?
it was.
I don't think Carlos would fire us. I think whoever runs that job that Carlos is on would never have us around. 3 guys just kind of
But
hanging
tell-
around picking up trash.
Who was the captain of the Expendables?
Well, usually me.
It
Usually
was totally him.
the ringleader.
Who else was on this crew?
But that's just because I spoke the most Spanish. Charlie Stewart was on this crew. Dean Griffin was on this crew. A guy named Joe Quarterman.
Should we
was
be
on.
dropping names?
They don't
live
work
on-
here. They were his.
They don't
they were
work
his
here
friends.
anymore, and
It was a
they
summer
got as
job.
far from the construction business as they could
Okay,
after
okay.
that.
Which I think was the purpose of them coming to work for the summer.
Oh, absolutely.
To hang out with Jason.
It was to whip them back into shape. Usually, it was usually required by their parents.
But Charlie was so funny.
Charlie was great because he didn't speak a lick of Spanish, and most of the guys on that crew didn't speak a lick of English. But they were all best friends with Charlie because there's
Something about a man who tries.
yes, exactly. There is some universal language out there, and Charlie knew it.
There you go.
And so they loved each other. I mean, whether it was when a guy got too hot and pulled his shirt up a little bit to cool off, Charlie'd be right there poking him in the belly button, and they'd be chasing Charlie around the job site. It was a good time. We had fun.
Fun memory.
All right.
We got a lot of good work done.
All right. Well, let's go
Next
to the
one.
next question. This one is this was actually a question that a lot of people asked, but then they quickly retracted it.
Okay.
But then finally, I came across Jake Roberts, who was, strong enough just to stick with it. And
Toughest
I
guy
can
in the office.
appreciate-
That
yeah.
makes sense.
But he wants to know, and so does everybody else, and they don't want their names out there, I guess. What was it like growing up with Jeff Martin?
Pretty much exactly as you would expect. I remember, got to be probably around 7 or 8 years old. My parents went out to dinner, ordered us a pizza. Pizza was there. My parents come home at 10:30 at night. I'd already been asleep for an hour or two. Here comes my dad coming in to wake us up because we did all the dishes, but we didn't take that pizza box out to the trash can. So your ass was up going to take that trash back out.
All 3 of you.
All 3 of us had to get up and do that. When one of us got in trouble, we all got in trouble to learn a lesson. There may have been one of my brothers that got a speeding ticket at one point.
Any initials?
CBM, I'll give you that. And he had to go to court for his speeding ticket. I think it was just over the limit into a super speeder. And so he had to go to court, and he he gave my dad the ticket on Father's Day, hoping that would help ease some of the pain.
Wow, what a gift.
That didn't go over well at all.
Backfire right there.
In which my dad immediately followed up with, when's your court date? And he said, well, I don't know. I'll check. It happened to be the next morning at 7 a.m. So myself was also up at 5 a.m. to go to court with him because my dad was so mad that both of us were going to learn a lesson about speeding that day. So there was a lot of two birds, one stone. Yeah, we got pretty smart though, where as everyone here knows, Jeff Martin's very particular. That's probably what makes Martin Concrete so great, is there is a standard, we do not deviate from it. Mm-hmm. And we learned how to play that as a kid. Because when you were out raking all the leaves or blowing off the driveway or cutting the grass and you saw that he was watching, you mess up one thing, you mess up a second thing, you see him start fuming, you mess up a third, boom, you got him. And then he's going to come take over. Let me see that. This is how you do it. And then you go, okay, all right, I'm out.
I think I might do that with my own kids too.
Yeah, it is. So we learned how to play him, but every single one of my friends was scared of my dad, but every single one of them respected him the most. Yeah. And if we ever did trips with other families, spring breaks, things like that, where a bunch of parents came, it was almost comical to see how quickly he became the leader. If there was a decision that needed to be made, a serious decision, all the parents immediately looked to him. It's not just here, it is everywhere. He is the one in charge, and they were happy to do it.
That's great.
So,
all right, Danny.
All right, I have a question.
Do you have?
So this is from Brian Wilson.
Okay.
What's the hardest part of your job?
Hardest part of my job.
I know you're going to have to take a while to think about it because you have a lot of hard things you do.
I'd say the hardest part would be when I personally screw up and know that it's me. When it's someone else, we work as a team and we all take blame. But when I miss something, when I'm putting together a change order, when I'm putting together a submittal and I miss something, then it's almost the embarrassment factor is almost the worst. Is if someone's seeing something coming from me, should that not be top-notch stuff? It should be for everyone coming from Martin. But then if I'm not leading by example, who is? And so when I mess up, when I miss in a submittal, I don't check the rebar drawings enough, and I miss something. That's the hardest part of, and I think that's more so just trying to maintain a standard almost of shoot, I just did exactly what I'm preaching to other people to not do.
Right.
So it's not an easy job by any facet, and it's not any easier when you're working with family. We work very well together, but there's clashes. We're brothers. I'm a son. He's my dad. We clash. So even with all that, I would say when you make a mistake, that's the hardest part, because then you're not preaching you're not living what you preach.
And I would say that, even taking the family part out of it and when you really care about what you do and you're passionate about what you do, and that's what we want everybody to be like, just like you're talking about what we preach. We want everybody to work like that. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we're all human. We all make mistakes, myself included, but there is something about it, like when you have to own that mistake and it sucks because you do feel like you're letting the team down.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
We all win together and we all lose together, but it does suck when you're the one. So that's just part of caring. I'd say that was the
best part about growing up working on the crews is you need to see it, to live it, to experience it, to understand what you are asking of people.
Exactly.
That's right.
Georgia in July is not...
It's no joke.
It's not chilly. And so when you're putting together something and a GC calls you and he says, "Oh, just do this, it's not that bad, just do this," you kind of understand what you're asking. And you personally, I know, I'm running a job with Carlos now.
Yeah.
he's got 6 guys on that crew that I worked with 11 years ago.
Correct.
And so, but you take it a little bit more personal when someone else messes up and the GC asks you to cover it. Is I know now what we're asking of those guys.
Right.
And so
That's right.
I would never want someone to do something I wouldn't personally do.
And that's just being a leader.
I was gonna say that's
Not to
a great
ever
sign of
ask
leadership.
anybody to do something that you're not willing to do yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a great leadership skill to have.
Did you read that in a book?
Oh, God, I need to start reading books.
Again.
Well, again, yes.
Go with it. I'm trying to save you. All right, Steve.
Yeah.
All right. This is a good one. I'm not going to tell you who this was from.
Okay, I have to guess.
Growing up.
John.
No
Ding,
names.
ding,
No
ding,
names.
ding.
That's a HIPAA violation. How much of your money did Burke spend versus how much of his own money did he spend?
It was always an 80 to 20 ratio at best
God.
for Jason.
John told me this story this morning, and he said the exact same verbiage,
Yeah,
everything.
Probably always 80 to 20. Burke is so good about that stuff. He gets you. He talk you into something. And always being the youngest, I'm a decently frugal person, so I always hoarded my money. And Burke knew that, so he was always good at getting me to spend that money. So as a kid, I remember we bought this little pocket rocket, little gas-powered motorcycle. And Burke and I co-owned that motorcycle together. If there was a title on it, 50-50. Well, I got suckered into paying $220 out of the $240 for this thing.
Goodness.
But yet, we're 50-50 on the ownership. And whenever it comes to who gets to ride it the most, it's not me.
Well, he's older, right?
Well,
Guess
he
it's
was
back to
older.
80-20, except you're the 20 again.
Yes, but he was always bigger, so they could beat me up. So that was just kind of how rules worked.
Are you giving away his secret now? So we all know to be careful with Burke, right?
Just watch out. Just watch out. Just know there's an end game.
That's right.
So I've got some property up in North Georgia that I'm looking to get some investors on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You want to join in?
I know what to
I just
look
need
out
you to
for.
cover the down payment.
That's fine.
That's it.
That's fine.
And then you'll pay the interest on it every year.
That's no... This sounds like a good deal.
So my next question I have is, somebody asked, what did you want to do? What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were younger?
This.
Seriously?
I always wanted to work in construction.
Always.
I was either going to go, and as you see me now, this is probably surprising, it was either Army or construction. I
Really?
mean, if I was better at basketball, I probably would have tried to do that, but I'm 5'9", you don't see many of them in there.
You've actually played.
Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah. Well, Muggsy Bogues was in the 60s, so... no, I always wanted to work in construction. As little as I can remember, I've always been building things. So when I was 5, my mom told me they were renovating the house next door. And so I would just hang around all the workers and all the carpenters, and she would say, I'd sit there and say, are you going to use that? Each time a piece of lumber got sawed off, I'd say that. And then back in my backyard, there was just a bunch of wood staying out there. In my imagination at that time, I had it, but
I bet Jeff loved that lumber just sitting out back. Too,
oh
didn't he?
yeah, it was my boat.
Yeah.
I always said it was my boat. I never put it together, but it was my boat. So I mean, we built our own treehouse, me, Burke, and John, growing up. I mean, I feel for Jeffrey, John's son, because there's not a damn chance in the world for that kid to do anything else. I mean, every book he's got, every toy he's got,
I've seen
everything
it.
he wants to do besides golf has to deal with construction.
construction.
And we were all the same way. So whether we were slowly morphed into that or if it was accidental, this is what we were going to do. And I always needed to do work in an industry that's tangible.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about construction is when you do a good job and you finish a year-long project, you can go and point to that and see that.
Yeah.
I drive by and, even before I was at Martin Concrete, point out to my friends, oh, I did that building. When most of my buddies do a great job on something and they're very proud of it, there's nothing you can see. Yeah, we made a deal. We did this. We sold this company. We bought this. We did a great job in the stock market. they always look to me and think that I do the coolest thing.
Yeah.
And I've always thought that's pretty cool.
Because you do.
Yes. And there is something very, I don't know, innate maybe in people. Just when you see heavy equipment, you get excited.
Yeah.
When we show developers around here, and I take them out back and show them, before we move things to the maintenance center, show them the skid steer with the laser level on there and all that. It just reverts grown men back to a child.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
The crane.
The crane,
everything.
every time. Everyone loves it, thinks it's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
All of my buddies now think it's the coolest thing that I work for a crane company now. And I take a lot of pride in that. I think it is pretty cool because it is something that it's a lot more fun. We spend days where we're behind a computer all day, but there's something tangible out there going on. You're going to have those days, but yesterday I spent all day on a job site, and I love being able to do that. That divide between sitting in a desk chair and walking around a job site all day.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a good both ways to have it, right?
Yeah,
That's one of my
exactly.
favorite things about this industry is every day can be different. And no day is the same. You can be on a
That's
job
true.
site one day, you can be at a pour the next. And then, like you said, going and sitting behind a computer all day, and the next day on a podcast.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's all
You never know
equally
what's
as important. You got to do it all.
Yep.
So,
And
Well,
hot
Dan-
take, congratulations on your recent transition to
Yes.
Full Tilt.
thank you.
So,
Thank you.
it's the newest project manager estimator at Full Tilt.
Project estimator, business development, anything you want.
Anything?
We'll do it.
All encompassing.
That's
What do you
recorded,
got?
so we have that now.
We have it now. So I want to talk to you about some invoices after.
Oh yeah. Good luck.
You brought up Jeffrey earlier, so this will be a good one.
Oh yeah.
If Nova and Jeffrey
Oh no.
are Nova and Jeffrey are trapped in a burning house, and you can only rescue one, who's it going to be?
It's gonna be Jeffrey. It's got to be Jeffrey.
That was quick. I like it.
Well, it should have been.
Yeah. And if Jeffrey and Nova are trapped together, it means Nova's terrified because she loves that boy so much, but then he keeps trying to poke her and play with her, and so she is terrified of him too. So if they're trapped in a room together, then she's in the corner trying to get as far away from him as possible.
She's already trying to get out, right?
Exactly.
And I think you know who that question is from.
Yes.
What about Nova or Hannah? This is entrapment.
TikTok.
Hannah has opposable thumbs.
Oh my god.
So does Jeffrey.
You said Nova.
You said Nova.
Yeah.
I know, but you chose Jeffrey earlier.
Well.
Next question, please.
Yeah. Okay, Hannah cooked a really good dinner last night. I had to make dinner for Nova, so there's a trade-off somewhere there. I'm taking both.
I'm sorry, Hannah.
I'm taking both of them.
There you
Yeah,
go.
God,
Good
she's gonna
answer.
listen to this
Hannah's
podcast.
holding Nova, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's a 2-for-1.
All right. What do you got, Steve? We'll do one more round.
One more round. Let's see.
I want to be able to keep all these too. I want to see what else was in this box.
Okay. I'll sell them to you later.
Perfect.
This is from Emmanuel Angel,
Okay.
who y'all have seen before on this podcast. Are you interested in any other position here at Martin Concrete?
He's trying to hire you.
Just trying to get me to finish safe.
So
That's how they do it.
We just got through talking about all of our open
he
positions
learns
before you
so
came on.
well.
Oh my gosh. What hours you guys working?
We can negotiate this out.
Yes. Yeah.
Come in at 10, leave at 2, take a
Yeah,
4-hour
right.
lunch.
I wish.
Monday through Thursday.
Look, I'm already at Full Tilt, so I already get a say. I'm going to the
I can
maintenance
promise
center
you
and
it's
just
better
disappear.
than Full Tilt hours. Those are long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
exactly.
All right. I have one. Don't judge me, but she made me ask this. This is from Lupe. And she wants to know, how serious are you about your engagement? And if it doesn't work out, are you willing to go on a date with her? Her meaning Lupe.
Which Lupe? Lupe or her cousin?
Oh,
Maybe both.
Doesn't matter. It's a Lupe 1.0. I call the other Lupe 2.0. Just for all the listeners out there, I have 2 Lupes that work for me that are related and literally have the same first name and last name. So the only thing I could do was name them Lupe, who's been here forever, and then Lupe 2.0.
It is true, and
They're both great.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
from behind, you really can't tell who's who either.
You can't.
Yes, the answer is yes, Lupe.
Michelle's dying behind the camera, by the way.
The answer is yes.
Before I give this answer, so the engagement is serious. But look, you come home, you find Hannah with her tennis coach. I don't know. I've heard the stories before.
Or trapped in a burning house.
Trapped in a burning house. I can only get her, a Nova, or Lupe, and I've got to save Lupe because she's working on my jobs.
I did not see this question go this way.
It's a business decision here.
No.
All right, this is a good one to go out on. What is one piece of advice you can share with our listeners?
From Michelle, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You can yell at her. She's right behind the camera, making you think.
Well, I've thought about this before.
Really?
Well, there's a few things typically when like an APM or younger buddies of mine started in the real world that I tell them. Like, one, I think that's the most important thing, especially to a new employee or a younger employee or new to a different trade, is the notebook. Keeping the notebook with you at all times.
Yep.
You never know when you're going to go into a podcast or a meeting or some other thing, and you're going to hear some term that you have no idea about.
Yep.
And a lot of times, you got to keep your credibility. So if you stop the meeting to go ask, hey, what's a CAZ? It's a controlled access zone. Well, now no one else trusts you in that meeting if you didn't know that basic term. Things like that. I thought when I first started, both at Martin and when I was at New South before this, I thought that was the most important thing, because my notebook was just filled with random 3-letter acronyms with a question mark behind them, little sentences that I said, Google this afterwards. What is this? What are they meaning? Because especially as a younger person, you can't jump in and stop a meeting, nor do you want to.
No, you don't
That's
want
right.
to.
It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking, all that stuff. So that's probably the first thing.
That's a great piece of advice, let me just say. And really young, new employees or just new to the industry, honestly, I had a finishing background before I got here. I didn't know anything about tilt or forming or anything. We would show up and we're pouring. So all of those, an insert, what do they, I remember sitting in a meeting, early 20s, and they kept talking about this when we're, forming panels and stuff. And same thing, I would write them down and I would go to Carlos Arcio all the time, and I'd have a list. What are they talking about this? Can you show me this? What does this mean? And he would teach me. But if I didn't have those lists, you're never going to remember. You
That's
say,
right.
in the meeting, you're like, I don't know what that, but if you don't write it down, you don't know.
Exactly.
And that's a great piece of advice.
And the other thing I learned coming here was I did the same thing. I had this notebook forever, but what it was is something changes every 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
to keep up with, well, this changed. Well, now you got to do this. Now, well, this changes this up here that you wrote down earlier. You got to write it down.
That's right.
You have
this
to keep
industry
up
has
with it.
Can't
so
remember it
many
all.
different weird terms, too.
So that'd be my number one.
Yeah, I see you got concrete circled on there to
Yes.
Google later.
Yes, what is this concrete?
What is concrete?
Yeah. That and phone calls. Make phone calls.
Yes.
That's the biggest one for people
No texting.
of any younger generations. Yes, we are so used to texting as our main form of communication that you just don't understand how great or how impactful a phone call can be. Now, you need to follow that up, but making phone calls, especially because we work in an industry where you've got 18-year-olds going straight into the field, and then you've got 70-year-old superintendents running the job.
Right.
70-year-old superintendent's not going to want you to text him, nor is he probably going to ever see it.
He's not checking his email for your communication path.
No. So maybe to that note of just learning how to communicate with each different group. You have some project managers that we work with that do not want you to call them because they're younger and they never grew up with it. So send them an email. They'll get back to you within 30 seconds because they're just sitting there on their email, and that's how they communicate, which is okay. You just have to learn how to adapt to each different job and each different scenario.
Yeah.
But
you're going to build a relationship faster.
Much faster.
Always, either face-to-face first, but then verbally over phone calls and things like that, much faster than you ever would through a text or an email.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's so important.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's just like with no prep. Great
No
job.
prep.
Well, a little bit of prep, just on the wrong thing.
On the wrong thing.
Was that one of your toolbox talks you had written down to talk to people about?
No. I did have a good one I was going to recommend the other day, but now I'm totally blanking on it. The little prep I did, I forgot about.
You
so.
should have wrote it down.
One
I should
more.
have had it.
I've got one more that in here. John Tuggle had a good one. So we'll call it the bonus round. 30 years from now, what do you want people to remember about Martin Concrete?
Mm.
Ooh.
2054.
Ooh. First of all, in 30 years, I'd like Martin Concrete to still be a name.
That was a little bit. I was wondering if you were going to catch that.
Yeah.
So he's changing it to what do you want them to know about Martin Concrete now?
To what do you want
Because
them
it's
to
still
know.
in the present.
At that point, I want people to know, because our goal is to keep growing. You
Yeah.
know, we've
Company.
talked about what our goals are and where we wanted to be in 10 years, which I guess is 7 years from now. So, and as we continue to grow, I want people to know that Martin Concrete keeps that same standard, that same family feel. I don't want us to turn into a corporation where people inside the company can get lost there. You know, I've only worked at 4 different companies now, but Martin by far has the most amount of family members working there, and that's awesome. I've got 4 family members working here.
So do I.
You have some.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll eventually have one, and I'm sure your sons will get put to work in the summertime at some point too.
I actually started going down and like creating a list in my head the other day of that very topic, and I had to stop counting. Like they're from field all the way here. There's so many, and it's great. Like that doesn't. Each generation just keeps becoming more hardworking, and even better.
that's
Like,
a good point,
it's amazing.
because if you didn't like working here or you didn't like Martin Concrete as an employee, there's
Exactly.
no way you'd recommend your family
That's
to come.
exactly
Never.
how I see it, is the fact that off the top of my head, I could name well over a dozen different family groups
Yeah.
that are here. And that just points out that they said, hey, you need to come here. Because, first of all, I know it firsthand, working next to your brother, and we have a uniquely great relationship, but in most cases does not go well. There's a lot of clashing there. There's a lot of divide. Me and my brothers are very fortunate with how well we get along. Doesn't mean we're always perfect, but from what I talk about with most other people, they're like, no way I would ever work with my family. And the fact that they're saying, I've had such a great experience, I want you to come join,
Yep.
I think is
believe in
even
this
more so than just,
Yeah, that's good.
hey, they pay pretty well.
Oh yeah,
You know,
that only goes so far.
Exactly. So I think that's an important thing, that we keep that family feel, that we keep the quality standard,
Image standard,
the image,
Yeah.
safety.
all of that we focus on our employees, and that we truly, in 30 years, because in that point, you know, if we're talking 30 years down the line and we're growing linearly, which I'm sure is not exactly feasible, but in that we're talking 1,000 employees. You know, I want to make sure that we're still focused on those employees and the people that are
100%.
behind them. Corey and Scott put it so great the other day when we were talking, is you're not just worried about 1,000 people. You're worried about 5,000-10,000 people.
Because it's families.
Because all the people behind them.
That's right.
And I think that's a great way to view a company. This
Yep.
is not just a P&L statement. I mean, obviously that's important. If we're not making money, this company ends up shutting down, and those people have to go find work
Right.
elsewhere. But as we said, people clearly like working here a little bit. So why not try and keep that going and keep improving that? I mean, I was
Keep
thinking
providing
about
opportunity.
Yeah. Yes. I was thinking about whoa. I was
It's
thinking
his
about-
first time on a podcast.
He's passionate.
Yes.
I like
yes.
it.
I've done similar things, but not like this.
Oh, gosh.
I can't get into those. But like, think about the Angels.
Yeah.
Think about Jesus and Emmanuel and where they started versus where they are today. And I've only been here 2 years, and now Jesus is transforming NC Finishing with Connor and Tim, and
Emmanuel started as an
is-
intern.
Yeah, was an intern, and now is supreme leader of whatever, Finish Safe and all that.
Dang.
So, or second in command to the supreme leader.
Thanks.
Uh,
I was my leadership skills. I've read enough books. I was just going to let it go.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, seeing that and hearing about that is awesome. Think about Saul's family. You know, hell, alone they've got about a dozen of them here.
Yeah. Or Ruben and Lupe and Brian.
And that is awesome. I mean, it's kind of the whole goal is you want to give, and you guys know this well better than I do. The whole goal of parenthood is to give your child a better life.
Absolutely.
And the fact that we have all of these children working for, you know, their parents that were there, exactly like Ruben and Lupe, and Ruben's one of the best operators we've got and we've had for a long time, and now see where Lupe is. She is a safety operations manager. She's a few steps up above that, and then hopefully Lupe's children can be a few steps above that. That's kind of the whole point.
Yep. And there's something here that everybody can do. You know, that's kind of an example too. Ruben's one of the best operators. Lupe's a safety operations manager, running safety over multiple states and multiple crews. And then you have Brian, who's a great welder and welding for Full Tilt.
That's
so they all do completely different things, but they're all a part of this Martin family hub.
Think about the Richardsons. Jason is running Full Tilt.
Yeah.
Jake is an estimator. Harley is APM. They're all over the place, and that's pretty awesome to see as we have that many different opportunities we can provide, you know, and you never expect someone to love what they're doing right off the bat or say, hey, I want to join this company and this position is exactly what I want to do from here on until retirement.
Right.
And exactly back to Emmanuel. He didn't love estimating, so he was able to move into a different position. We were able to retain an awesome employee because he had a different opportunity.
Same with Lan.
Same with Lan. Same with Jake. Same with all these people, as we were able to keep them because we were able to say, hey, don't leave us. Why don't you try this out? See if that works better.
And that's what I hear more often than anything is I don't want to leave the company. I just don't want to, you know, really, this isn't my thing because they start so early in their life and their career, a lot of them. I just need to change. I don't think this is the right fit. And, you know, you kind of test that. Okay, you don't have to. Like, we have these opportunities available. You know, what do you think? And walking down that path with them, and, you know, they really mean, like, I don't want to leave the company. I love the company culture.
Yeah.
Which is great.
You should have been on us on earlier with us as we were going through people development as our core value of the day. So.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go. We touched on it already. It's almost like I got the agenda.
Interesting.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and joining us. You did a great job.
Well, thank you.
We will definitely have you back for another podcast episode.
You'll be a fill-in for sure.
Perfect. Perfect. And just wait till I make the rival podcast, Full Tilt's podcast.
Oh, no.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, is it going to be in Spanish? Because that's our next one up.
No entiendo.
Interesting.
Thank you so much. And, we will look forward to having you again.
Okay, I'm excited to hear it.
All right.
Thanks, Jason.
All right. Well, that was pretty good. Thank you for coming back and staying with us.
Yes.
Wow. You know, what a great
so many
person to have on.
Fun stories.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more that we didn't even uncover. So.
Oh yeah, we could have sat here all day. That's right. I really enjoyed the last question though. That was a good one. I'm glad you found that and did a bonus round. That might be something new.
I didn't want us to go and miss that one. I saw it sitting in there, so you're welcome.
So thank you to everybody for listening today. This is wrapping up episode number 5. Thank you, Michelle, for being on today.
You did great.
Joining
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll see you again. Yes.
We didn't have any HR violations on the show today.
Nope, not at all.
Other than her Mean Girls comment, but some people haven't saw the movie, so who knows?
So how can our guests leave questions or comments?
So you can email your questions, your comments at hr@martinconcrete.com. If you want to see somebody on the Toolbox Talk or you're interested yourself, feel free to email us at hr@martinconcrete.com and let us know. And yeah, I'm sure you can leave the comments on the YouTube and Spotify sections as well. But if you do that, they better be positive.
That's right.
Because Marissa will hunt you down.
So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, likes on there.
Tell your family, tell your friends.
Yep. And we will see y'all next time.
Thank y'all for joining us.
Thank you.